Hey everyone, how you doing? Doug Barry here. I just had a very serious technical glitch with the internet here, getting this live going. And you know what that tells me? It's a reminder. It's a reminder that we really do need to take seriously what we rely on and how ready we are to deal with any kind of fallout when it comes to some sort of, I don't know, let's call it attack or some sort of disruption in what we're used to. So I wanted to go on actually about 10 minutes ago, and I had that spinning wheel of, I don't know if I want to do this for you on the middle of the screen. I think you all know what that's like when you hit go and the computer decides to think about it for quite a while. So I had to back out and come back in, re-enter information, and try to get this up and running. But here we are. So I appreciate you joining me, and those of you who will watch this video later. There's a couple of reasons why I'm doing this video. It's a short one. This short live, it will be posted obviously on my YouTube channel. Those of you who are watching it right now later understand that. I'm going to be doing a live free training coming up at 6 p.m. Central Time today. This is the 11th of October, and we are sitting at, right now it's about 5 p.m. going on 5 p.m. So in 1 hour almost, I'm going to be doing a live training. Go out to, I'm going to put this in the chat box over here right now so you get the link to it right here. For those of you who want to go out right now and check it out and get signed up for it, I really want to encourage you to do that. This is going to be, again, a live training. And go out to brcoalition.com and you can sign up for it there. It's going to be going on tonight at 6, and then again tomorrow, Thursday at 1 p.m. Both times are Central Time. 6 o'clock tonight, 1 p.m. tomorrow. And we are most likely going to be adding a couple more at least over the weekend. And the reason we're doing this is obviously what's been going on in the world right now, the attack in Israel that took place over the weekend. And then even recently, you may have heard this report that just came out where Hamas is calling for, I'm reading it off the phone here. This has been out. I've seen 4 different reports on this, that Hamas is calling for a global jihad on October 13th. That's in 2 days. They're calling for a global action, a rising up of Muslims everywhere. And in fact, the report goes so far as to say that they're calling for sacrifice of blood and souls of Muslims out there. Now, we hear saber rattling type things all the time. I don't know that you can refer to this as that, especially when we're following what just happened in Israel. The brutality of the attacks in Israel is off the charts with regards to our modern times. The strategic effort that was put into that particular attack also incredibly disturbing and very, very concerning about our times right now. Now, we're going to be talking about this at length in the live that I'll be doing tonight at 6 p.m. Central Time. Go to brcoalition.com to sign up for that. We can only take 1,000 people on that webinar. I know we've already got more than 1,000 signed up, but normally not everybody shows up. But we do have a follow-up tomorrow at 1 o'clock. That's almost full at this point, but we will be adding more. I believe we're already talking about adding more because the response has been so overwhelming. And one of the reasons is because we are concerned about what's been going on, and we should be. The prophecies, let's tie that in, the prophecies. Many of you have been following me, I know, and following others, following the U.S. Grace Force podcast. We've had many guests on, and you may have been hearing from others as well out there that there have been prophecies that something is coming in October. There's a very popular individual out there right now, Xavier Aral, and he's been talking. We had him on our podcast last week or a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, at length about the warnings. We've heard it from Countdown to the Kingdom, Mark Mallet, Christine Watkins. Daniel O'Connor is currently in a podcast that we just did, Father Heilman and I just did, and is just out within the last hour, half hour or so. I just released that one. And we are discussing, again, these warnings that have been coming about the month of October. Now, there has been a lot of talk about October, and a lot of people have kind of scoffed at it and thrown it to the wind as if it's not a big deal. We have to worry about this. We hear this sort of stuff all the time. But what we were told by Xavier Aral is that October would be the first chapter, the beginning of things that would change, that would lead to more trials and tribulation down the road, even months down the road. So is that what we're seeing right now with Israel? Possibly. So we're going to break some of that down again in the live that I'll be doing at 6 o'clock tonight Central, and also 1 o'clock tomorrow Central. Go out to brcoalition.com to sign up for that. We're also, we've taken our BR Coalition course, our BREP course. We call it BREP for short, BREP, Be Ready Emergency Preparedness course. And we've knocked 50% off of that. We want you to go out brcoalition.com. If you don't have the BREP course, consider purchasing the BREP course. It is a very, very concentrated, very focused through the lens of the Catholic Church way of looking at proper preparation. Should we be preparing with not just spiritual? That's first and foremost. That is 100% first and foremost. 24/7, we should be preparing spiritually. And I'll talk about that in just a moment. But we should be preparing naturally as well. I'll say this first again before I go any further. If you do not buy our course, so be it. But do something to prepare. Food, water, shelter, medical, defense ideas. Look what happened in Israel. Look that they're calling for a global jihad right now. The border has been open in America for the last, almost 3 years or so. We have got, since Biden took office, we have got a nightmare with regards to the border here in America. We don't even know who's in our country. And yet we're hearing talk of a global jihad. And yet there will still be people in America and other places of the world that will simply say, that's not that big a deal. We don't have anything to worry about. That's not going to happen here. If you're not familiar with what happened in Israel, go look at some of the reports. How children, even babies, have been, I hate to say this, beheaded. Some kids burned alive. Women raped. 20 cities at least were simultaneously hit. They came in from, paraglided in. They came in from the water. They came in through the wall from the Gaza Strip. They simultaneously, this is just a very strategic plan, came in and disrupted people's lives horribly. Over 1,000 Israelis are dead. Now, what will happen from here as they grabbed even women by the hair, drug them out and took them back as hostages, women, children, soldiers? So for people to say that, oh, this could never happen, this is not that big a deal, I don't understand this, why people are worried about this sort of thing. We have got to wake up and realize that there is evil in this world. And we've been warned through many prophecies. The Blessed Mother, who's over my left shoulder here, has warned us in Fatima. She's warned us in Rwanda, in Akita. The Rwandan genocide that took place, the tragedy and devastation of that. Again, some of this stuff I'll be talking in more detail at 6 o'clock tonight. brcoalition.com to get signed up for that free training webinar. I'm going to break down some very key details of what we can do, should be doing right now to start getting better prepared. But we also want to encourage the course. The course is 50% off. We're going to do that for at least a week, week and a half, give or take, because we want people to have access to something like this. We've got bills to pay back here, so we can't just give it away free because there's so much in it. It is revamped completely. The BR, Emergency Preparedness course, BREP for short. We want you to go out there, consider buying that. But if you don't, take steps now in different ways that I'll be breaking down in the training video. Now, this is going to be a shorter video. I'm at 8 minutes now, probably not going to go past 15. I really want to keep this concise and really want to encourage you all to take seriously what is going on in the world right now. One thing that Xavier Arel said in the podcast that has really stuck with me. I've been talking about Marian prophecies and these sorts of things for over 30 years, close to 40 years. I was 18 when I started speaking about these things in, different high school groups and so forth. Age appropriate, of course, about prophecies of what is to come. And here we are being faced with many things that are unfolding right in front of us right now. We're talking about the Holy Land has been attacked, the land where Jesus walked. And it was attacked October 7th. That's the anniversary of the Battle of Lepanto. It's also the Feast of Our Lady of the Most Holy Rosary, the Feast of Our Lady of Victory. Now, the jihad that they're calling for, that Hamas is calling for on Friday, is the 13th of October. For those of you who are familiar with October 13th, from Fatima, 1917, October 13th, when it comes to what Pope Leo the 13th, when he released the St. Michael prayer back in 1884, and the October 13th apparition in Akita, Japan, the warning of the fire falling from the sky. October 13th is it's a significant day. Now, if something happens, and again, we don't know for sure, but then again, there were people who said, oh, nothing's going to happen in October. Talk of prophecy of October, nothing will happen. It's just going to come and go. In fact, I saw some of the comments on a video that I put out a while back about October saying, yeah, you've been talking about this sort of stuff. People have been talking about this sort of stuff for a long time and nothing happens. And on October 7th, the Holy Land is attacked. And the type of attack that could very easily escalate to something much, much bigger. Not to mention what's going on in Ukraine, Russia. And these prophecies of war, again, I'll be talking about more at 6 o'clock tonight Central, 1 o'clock tomorrow Central. Go to brcoalition.com to sign up for this. Let others know about it. Get them involved. We're going to talk again about details of some of these prophecies. We're going to talk about details of what we can do, what we should be doing right now. And I mean that we should be doing this. What Xavier Arel said in that podcast that really resonated with me was this. This conversation is no longer a conversation where you sit around a table with a cup of coffee in your hand and just discuss what might be and what could and couldn't. This conversation is now on another level. It really should be on another level. And I know if you're watching this video right now, whether you're the live member right now watching or whether you're watching the replay later, I know some of you are going to say, oh, Doug, I've tried to have these conversations with my family, with my loved ones, and they just won't buy it. They won't accept it. They won't take it in. What do I do? I understand. I've been there before, still am in some ways. I say we show them by example, first and foremost, of our prayer life, our love for God, and still our joy. I still have joy in the middle of all this that's going on. The joy is because of the Holy Spirit, that you find the things in this world that are worth really paying deep attention to, family, friends, so forth. But then also realize that there is a responsibility that we have, just as Joseph of the Old Testament, the responsibility of preparing for 7 years they did in Egypt for the 7-year famine that was coming, foretold through a dream that God gave Pharaoh, one of the most godless men in the world at the time. Pharaoh had a dream that God gave him. Now, I guarantee you, if that information would have gotten out, people would have laughed at the idea. Pharaoh gets a dream. First of all, the man is godless. He's a pagan. Second, he has a dream and he calls Joseph, and Joseph interprets the dream. 7 fat cows, 7 skinny cows, 7 fat grain, 7 skinny grain. And you're going to tell me this is about famine that we have to prepare for? And then it all happened. And at the time, people probably thought, because of human nature, that they were crazy. And then it happened. The sad thing is many people will wait until things actually happen before they start believing that they even could happen. Now, we don't know time frame for sure, but we were warned that October was going to be a key month. And I think it's very apparent that something key is unfolding right now. This war in Israel, not to mention the synod going on in synodality. And much of it, well, we're being told, should be a media blackout. We're not supposed to hear what's going on behind the scenes, even though many laity as well as other church officials are involved and will be voting on certain changes that may occur in the church. And we're just supposed to accept 100%, but there's no problem with it. Meanwhile, a small statue was presented to Pope Francis just as the Pachamama was brought in back in 2019, in October 2019 at the Amazonian Synod. Another statue was brought to the Pope of a little Hopi Indian statue of this little. It's a female statue, but it's a woman in a little skirt and everything holding a knife, and it has to do with children and capturing children, and it's brutal. I talked about this earlier, filling in for my friend Jesse Romero with Dan Schneider on Libre Crystal War Room on Virgin Most Powerful Radio. We talked about the details of this statue that was given to the Pope by an American, McCain, last name McCain, I forget her first name, forgive me, an American secretary for our government, given to the Pope. The insanity of what's going on is off the charts. The Monsignor Pope himself said after the Pachamama was brought into the Vatican that when you bring false idols into the church, you are setting yourself up for things like pestilence, disease. But you know what else is included in those sorts of scriptural passages? War, pestilence, disease. These are, I hate to say, normal consequences that God allows us to fall into when we have false idols being brought into the church. As the Catholic Church goes, honestly, everyone, so goes the rest of the world. So what is our response going to be? That's what we're going to break down in these lives, 6 p.m. tonight and also 1 p.m. tomorrow. And we're going to be adding some more over the next several days because, the numbers have been really amazing. The response of people who want to sign up for these webinars. Go out to brcoalition.com and spread the word to other people. All right. Again, tonight's might be full already. I don't know. Go sign up anyway. You will at least get the replay emailed to you later, even if you aren't able to get in live. But then there's the 1 o'clock one tomorrow, Central Time, and then there will be more. Again, we're going to add at least a couple more probably over the next several days. But please pay attention. brcoalition.com. Go on out there. The course is on sale, 50% off right now. I got it up on the other monitor right here. Top of the page, Catholic Emergency Preparedness course is open. Click the Learn More button right there next to it, the top little banner in blue, and that will take you right out there, and you can take a look at whether or not you want to sign up for it. if you sign up for it. Again, 50% off. And any updates that we add to the course down the road, you will get with no charge. Okay, that's just the way this course operates. There's also a community in there where you can interact with each other. But also this, if you do not buy this course, and I understand if you don't feel like you can or it's not something you're interested in, go to our BR Coalition YouTube channel, look at the free content. We have some free content out there about water storage, backup power with regards to battery stations, solar powered battery stations, and many other things that are out there. There's a lot of information on the internet about what we should be doing to prepare. What we have done with the Be Ready Emergency Preparedness course is we've condensed it all into a course that is looked at through the lens of the Catholic faith so that we can understand the scriptural aspect of this. There are many people still to this day who believe that we don't need to do anything. You'll hear terms like, well, we know who wins in the end, so we're not going to worry about anything. You'll hear expressions such as, well, God's in charge, so why worry about it? It's not about worry, number one. It's not about anxiety or worry. It's about a sense of urgency, which the Blessed Mother herself has said repeatedly, church-approved apparitions, and even those that maybe not have been approved formally, but are still worth discerning. She talks about the word urgency all the time. I was going to say lots of times, all the time. She talks about the word urgency. Now, being urgent doesn't mean you're panicking. You think about fire and rescue. Alarm goes off in the middle of the night. Those firefighters got to get up out of bed. They got to hop on that truck. They're not panicking, I hope. They might not be anxious. I hope they're not. But they're moving with an urgent fashion, an urgent attitude. They know they got to get somewhere quick, and they've got to get there well-trained and ready to handle whatever they're going to confront. We need to have that same sense of urgency. Our Lady is calling for it as well. And it's not just spiritual. Spiritual is key. That's 24/7, 365. Yes, but it's not just that. It is also that we have that understanding that on a very natural level, and we'll talk about this again in these free training courses coming up tonight at 6 p.m. Central, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central, and then what we're going to add over the weekend. Go to brcoalition.com for more on that. It's at the very top of the chat box here. What we're going to talk about is, for example, Rwanda, the Rwandan genocide. I'm going to break that down a little bit in detail. 3 months. And in 3 months, the tragedy of that was off the charts. And do you know why a lot of people got very sick and even died? It wasn't, the murder, brutality, people killing with machetes and beating people with stones and choking people to death, and the unbelievable, massive sexual assault that went on. Over 500,000 estimated women and children were raped. The brutality of all of that. And a lot of that could have been avoided if people would have been better prepared to defend and protect and come together as community and form those groups, those coalitions to be able to protect and defend. But another key thing that happened that a lot of people don't realize is a lot of people got sick and even died from dirty water. Did you know that? Dirty water. I know that because I talked to a gentleman who was an Army sergeant at the time who said that he was sent there. He had 20 men under his command, and his job was to bring a couple of 600-gallon water purifiers into the region. And he said people were getting sick and dying within 3-4 days of cholera. Dysentery would take over because of simply drinking dirty water. So what do we do to make sure that if that were to happen here or anywhere in the world, that we would be better prepared? Whether it's getting water filter systems set up, like this one right here. I highly recommend this particular brand here. It's Lifesaver. We'll talk more about that in the course. But even something like a water filter, water purifier, I should say water purifier, so you can purify the water to drink it. Your life, the life of your loved ones, your children, your spouse. Why do we not think about this? Whether it's a natural disaster or war, pestilence, disease, all the things that we see unfolding, and when the prophecies are so clearly spoken to us, why we would not respond, I just don't know. So again, I'm going to wrap this up here in just a few moments, but everybody out there, and those of you who are watching right now, if you watch this later, by the way, go to brcoalition.com. You can still check out the course. We're going to run the sale for quite a while. We really want to encourage people to get out there and get this course so they can get active now, right now. If what happens, at the time I record this on Wednesday, the 11th, if what they're calling for, Hamas is calling for a global jihad on Friday the 13th, that's 2 days away. We do not know what that could manifest into. We know that there are protests in streets right now. We know that we are seeing this in various parts of the world. There's pro-Hamas protests that are actually blaming Israel for this attack. And whether you like Israel or not, You're going to tell me that it's justifiable for anybody to come rolling into town, 20 different towns at the same time. By the way, they dropped between 3,000 and 5,000 missiles on Israel. But to come rolling into the town, one in particular was a music festival. They came rolling up, open up, and just started to open fire. Roughly, I think 260 at last I heard, 260 killed at a dance music festival. And you're going to blame Israel for that. That's what some people are doing. So the craziness of our times just lends to more credibility of the warnings that are before us right now. So whether you buy this course or not, do something now to start getting better prepared. Deepen the prayer. Consecrate your lives to the Blessed Mother, to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Enthrone your homes to the Sacred Heart and the Immaculate Heart. Get to confession regularly. Pray that rosary regularly. Turn that life, that heart over to God. Last thing I'll say before I wrap it up is this. Don't live a life of preparation for God. I mean, obviously, the food, water, shelter, medical, and defense, that's the stuff we talk about in our BR Emergency Preparedness course. We break that down in detail. We give you 4 different tiers: being prepared for 3 days, being prepared for 3 weeks, then 3 months, then a year plus. How do we do this and how can we do this? We break it all down in the course. And again, it's 50% off right now. So go out to brcoalition.com, take a look at that. But when it comes to the spiritual preparation, I know there are people who say, make sure you don't fall into sin because you got to be ready to die. Yes, there's truth to that. But I say focus first before you worry about not falling into sin. And I'm going to get more into this during the free training coming up. 6 tonight Central Time, 1 p.m. tomorrow Central Time. And then we're going to add a couple more over the weekend. I'm going to focus on this key thing right here. The 4th Beatitude. Blessed are the single-hearted, also known as blessed are the pure of heart. They will see the face of God. What does it mean to be single-hearted? It means not distracted by anything else. Yeah, I've got things around me that I use. I'm using the computer. I've got a phone. I've got to eat. I got to drink. I got to exercise. I got family. All these things, all very important. But if God is number one and I'm focused on God, then all these other pieces fall into the proper holy order of things. So instead of going through life worrying about whether I'm falling into this sin or that, though I do want to be concerned about that, do not mistake me. I want to be focused first and foremost on being single-hearted, being focused on God, pure of heart, see the face of God. And then guess what? All these other things that I'm worried about not sinning, it's far less likely that I'm going to, because I want to connect my heart with the Sacred Heart of Jesus, my heart with the Immaculate Heart of Mary. And if I focus on that, that's the best preparation I can make of all. But when that happens, guess what flows from that? I want to care for all those that God entrusts in my path, whoever that is, wherever I am, whether it's my family or I'm at a grocery store and something happens at the grocery store and those people there at that grocery store, I want to be able to work with them, protect, defend, do whatever. But it all starts with having a heart that is single-hearted, focused on Almighty God. So that's what we're going to be breaking down more in detail in the free training tonight, 6 p.m. Well, 40 minutes from now. So go on out to brcoalition.com, sign up if there's still room, get in on it. Otherwise, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Central Time. And again, pay attention, BR Coalition. We will let you know about the others that we add, and we are definitely planning on adding more because the response has been pretty overwhelming already of people who want to get in on this. And they want to get in on it because they see what's happening and they're concerned about what's happening and they want to do something about it. Last thing, remember, if you do not sign up for this course, do not buy our course. That is entirely up to you, but do something. Deepen the prayer and then take the natural steps, the proper steps in the world to be better prepared. I can't get into it more detail right now. I'll do more videos on this, more lives, but look at what's going on. And to sit idly by and say, well, I'm not going to worry about it, somebody else will take care of it, is the wrong attitude to have. So I encourage you all, brcoalition.com, going out there, check out my YouTube channel, stay on my YouTube channel, check out for other videos coming up, and check out the past ones too, the Prophecies of October, the warnings that are out there. Check out U.S. Grace Force podcast as well. Go to BR Coalition YouTube channel as well. We got some great content out there, some free content to help you get better prepared, food, water, shelter, some of these things as well. We've got some smaller pieces on there you can check out. That's all free content. Get moving now. We don't know how much time we have. And again, I know we could die in a car accident. That's true. But most of us aren't going to die in a car accident today or tomorrow or next week even. Most of us are going to live through whatever is unfolding. To some degree, And we want to be better prepared because we want to lessen the impact. We want to lessen the impact spiritually and lessen the impact naturally of suffering in this world. That's our job as Christians. All right. All right. I'm going to end the stream here now. Again, brcoalition.com. I look forward to seeing you hopefully in the live training coming up soon. God bless and strengthen you. Take care.